Welcome, everybody. What a truly special day it is. Not just for our football program, our athletic department, but it's for our university and our state. Of course, by now, we know that we're here to welcome Danny Gonzales as our new football coach. But more than that, we're here to welcome Sarah, Cole, Chloe, Abby, Jake, to the UNM family. So welcome. Round of applause, please. I want to take a moment to thank a couple individuals that have been really instrumental through this process. First and foremost, President Garnet Stokes. Unfortunately, she has been called to another situation, so unfortunately she couldn't be here. But I can tell you right now, firsthand, how excited she is to have Danny as our head football coach. She had an opportunity to meet with Danny, myself, on Sunday, Saturday, I don't even know anymore, Monday, thank you. And she from the minute she met him, she knew that this was someone who could lead our program and lead it in the right direction. So I thank her for her support through this process. It was unbelievable. I also want to thank our Board of Regents, our Lobo Club Board, my staff, in particular Dave Williams. He spent a lot of time helping me through this process, so thank you for that. And of course, all the university administration that has helped put this together. And lastly, I do want to thank Coach Davey and the current staff that was in place that has helped us through the transition of this, so thank you to them. Now, let me speak a little bit about the process, because everybody wants to know a little bit quickly about how this process got to where we are today. The process, as everyone knows, began 2 weeks ago with an emphasis to find the right coach. Not just the coach, but the right coach. Throughout the process, I heard around the country that how so many people were expressed interest in this job, and that's great. But through it, I had my guiding principles. My guiding principles that were going to be leadership, someone who provided leadership, high character, that kept focus, had strong academic and NCAA compliance and understanding, had a commitment to excellence. I wanted a winner. I wanted somebody who had not just competed at a high level, but also was able to be a part of winning programs. And then ultimately, somebody who understood the community and could be invested in the community. So as we went through, we narrowed our list. I wanted to make sure I was honest and fair with everyone. True fact, Danny and I never met each other until the first time we sat across each other in that first meeting. And I did it purposely because I wanted to be fair. I had heard wonderful things about him, but the reality is I wanted to be fair to him in this process, and I wanted to make sure he checked those boxes. But as we began those conversations, the more and more we went through it, I kept going back to Danny in my head, in my mind, my gut. And ultimately, as I looked at every box that we had talked about from the beginning, he crossed off and checked every one of those. It was an honor for me to be able to meet him and know that I was going to be standing right by him, side by side, as we get this program where we want it to be. So it is my privilege and honor to introduce our 32nd leader of our Lobo program and his Lobo football program, Coach Danny Gonzales. Dave.
Picture of you. Wow. That's awesome.
Turn around there. Actually, if you don't mind, I'd love to have Sandra and the family up. Let's take a quick photo before I have Danny start his speak.
Come on.
Come on up. Let's take a picture.
Come on, Ab. Okay, please. That's cool.
Photos? Yeah, I got you. I got you. No, you're good. Thank you, guys. So now, Danny, come on up. I'll hold that for you. Go for it.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. The amount of people here is amazing. I said it last night. I'm home. I'm honored to be here. First, I would like to my faith and my belief in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ has given me opportunities through my life. That's first and foremost to me. My family, my wife Sandra and my 4 kids, they're my number one. We recently lost my mother about 6 weeks ago on the 13th of November. My dad's here. My dad taught me how to be a Lobo from the time I was 5 years old. Now I'll tell you a little story. I was probably one of the 500,000 people from Albuquerque that was at the 1980 BYU New Mexico game, okay? Because there was about 500,000 people there if you hear the stories. That was the first football game my father ever took me to. And I saw Jim McMahon about 6 weeks ago at an event in Tempe. That's where he lives. And I walked up to him and said, "I'm going to make you feel old." I was at that game, and he knew the score, 25-21. He remembered the details, so that's a lasting memory in the Lobo world. First, let me start by thanking President Stokes, Eddie Nunez, David Williams, the DHR International Search Firm, and Glenn Sugiyama, the people that afforded me the opportunity to be up here, the beliefs that they have in me to lead this program. I'm honored, I'm privileged to be our coach. It is our football team. When I came here in 1994 as a player, I walked onto this team determined to be a part of the team. The teammates that I had through my time here, that time started with Coach Dennis Francione, who reached out to me yesterday. I'm very honored to that. He helped start to build this program, and I remember the words of his press conference when he came here, that this was going to be a marathon, not a sprint. And I agree, it is. We are going to build a program. In 1997, we competed for the conference championship. We lost to Colorado State that day. Went to the Inside.com Bowl as a player, came back, and then Coach Long. Coach Long, I will forever be grateful for. He gave me an opportunity that he taught me how to be a football coach. I have been very blessed in my time as a football coach and who I was surrounded by. Coach Long, Coach Gary Patterson is a position coach and coordinator. Coach Bronco Mendenhall, the head coach at Virginia. Those people have been very influential in my life and being a Lobo. Coach Long taught me what it honestly meant to be a Lobo. When I talked to him yesterday after I had received the news that I was going to be our next football coach, he was very excited. The words in his voice, he said, "It's your time. Don't screw it up. It's our team." I promised him. I made him a promise, and I will take that one to my grave. You're gonna have to run me out of here because we're gonna do this right. I am here to represent the state of New Mexico. I love this place. I am here to represent the University of New Mexico. Not only the athletic department, but anything we can do to make the university a better place. My first and foremost and my biggest job is going to be to recruit the current players on this team. I want them to be Lobos. I want them to stay Lobos. This whole transfer portal has changed NCAA football, and I'm okay with that because I'm going to meet with all of them. I want them to know, the ones that I haven't talked to yet, that I'm one of them, and I want them to be here. And we're going to build this program with them. They are going to have the honor and the privilege to protect the past, the present, and the future of Lobo football. I believe the salaries in college football have gone crazy, okay? What's important to me is the resources that are going to be put into this football program. What I make does not matter to me. It's the resources in this program. And if you have that, you have a chance to be successful. And we're going to build this thing, like I said, we're going to build a program that competes for championships. We're going to build a community within our athletes that are going to be around. I want the entire athletic department, all of our student athletes, not just football. I want all of our student athletes to know that I represent them in any way I can, any way I can help them. Our job is to mentor, lead, and help them. This is a very vulnerable time in their life. And that is first and foremost our job, to lead them as young men into society. You're going to see them around. You're going to know who our Lobo football players are in this town and in this state. I'm honored and privileged to be your football coach. I have an open door anytime, and I get it. All the emails you want to send me, how good we are, how bad we are, bring them. You'll get a response. I invite you. I mean, the media has been great to me. I mean, most of you are my friends. I know a lot of you from when I was here before, very dear and to my heart. Henry T, I've got memories of him calling basketball games when I played. And I walked through the stairs last night at the pit, and the Valley alumni, you guys were strong last night. I appreciate that. University of New Mexico alumni, they were strong last night. And today, you know why today's a great day? Not because I was named the football coach. Season ticket sales go on sale today. Go buy them. Let's walk across that street and let's fill this place up. I promise you this. We're going to build this program, and I'm a New Mexico kid. We're going to recruit New Mexico kids. When I was here before, our best players were the kids from New Mexico. It meant something to them. We're going to recruit the best New Mexico kids. We're going to recruit the best football players that want to be Lobos. If they want to be a Lobo and they can play, they're going to be here, and they're going to graduate. You have an opportunity as a Division I athlete. A lot of people don't know this, and I think this is the greatest stat in recruiting. You have a chance to be one of the 7% of Americans that graduate college and don't know anybody debt, don't owe anybody money. They have no idea how important that is until they don't. And it's our job to make sure they graduate and have that opportunity. And they're going to be mentored in every aspect of their life in our program. And I'm excited to guide that and lead that. I know I'm going to have a lot of great people to lean on, including Coach Long, Eddie, David, everybody that has given me this opportunity and afforded it. I know my dad sitting over here is very proud. Like I said, being a Lobo from the time I was born into it, I bleed cherry silver. I do. And I love this place. I said it last night. I love this place and I love you guys. And the passion that I will put into this, there isn't anybody else that will work as hard as I will to build a winner. We're going to win. And like I said, we finished second 4 times. We're going to get it done. Thank you. So go ahead, whatever questions you got.
All right, Danny, I guess when you come in here, what do you see as some of the major challenges to get it done? Or, you know, like with maybe facilities, money, support, what you kind of mentioned in your opening statement. Mm-hmm. What do you see as some of your greatest challenges to get that done?
You know, really, we're gonna build a team that plays hard. Okay, if you have a team that plays hard and represents the community you're in and the city and the state, the people will come. What you need to be successful is you need a bunch of interested people. And if we can gain their interest by building a team that they're proud of, they'll show up. Because what that does is when you fill up that stadium, okay, Dream Style Stadium is going to be full. That's more resources for us. That's more resources for our student athletes. And they are going to be given resources in football, academics, and social life. And if we get the people there, it'll be there. And New Mexico's a great time right now with the state government and the legislature. We've got some opportunities out there. And if our kids are invested in it, and the great thing about having our kids out in the community is they never know who they're going to meet and who they're going to touch that might impact their life forever. And that's how we're going to do it, and that's how we'll garner the resources.
Lee Faria, KOB TV.
Sir, Lee.
How you doing, Coach?
Great.
Coach, you mentioned Rocky quite a few times.
Yes.
How close is your philosophy with his philosophy about not only defense but offense and that kind of thing?
Here's the similarities we share. You hold them to one less point. Okay. I hope we score 50, 60 points a game because it makes playing defense a whole lot easier. As we go forward and we hire the staff, you'll be able to see, I think there's a lot of things out there, perception and all that of what you're going to do and how you do it. Controlling the clock. I mean, if you look at Washington State and Mike Leach, great coach. They went super, super fast. They threw the ball all over the place 1,000 times a game. Now their ball control they still run all that great air raid offense, and it's hard to stop. I mean, they had a bunch of yards. Now, we beat them. They had a bunch of yards. But they get up to the line of scrimmage and they watch that clock and they milk it down to help out their defense. I think that's important, being able to control the game. There's times to go fast. There's times to go slow on both sides of the ball. Philosophy-wise, what do we share? Winning. We're going to win.
Coach Glenn Rosales, Associated Press. What does it mean to you to be one of the first Hispanic coaches here at the university in a primarily or predominantly Hispanic type state?
Awesome. I think that's a really neat thing. There's two things that go with that. President Stokes, she's the first female president. What that does, it gives people like my daughters opportunities that they've never had before. Being a minority and being Hispanic and being the first head coach of that kind here is really special because it just opens doors for others behind me. And it's a special place. And having that opportunity to do that here, I'm very honored.
Is the 335 coming back?
Absolutely. Organized chaos.
But and just talk about the success of that defense and how you've watched it. I mean, you've seen it so long and
Yes.
you've played in it and all that stuff.
Here's why I think Coach Long is one of the greatest defensive minds in all of college football and the things that he taught me. 335 is a number, okay? You go every spring and you have to evaluate your best 22 players that you're going to put on the field to be successful. There might be 4 D linemen, it might be 2 linebackers. We're going to base out of a 335 and then design it around that. The relevance of college football now, it's what I call basketball on grass. Everybody wants to use the 53 and the 30 yards of the width of the field, and they throw it all over the place. You have to be able to evolve and adapt with the game. And that's what Coach Long has been a genius in. He spends more time back there trying to stay ahead of all those offensive gurus. And so, I mean, it's just like facing the triple option. You face it once, you stone it, you come back with that same plan, they're going to run you out the building. And so you have to evolve and stay ahead. And I think that's what the 335, it puts athletes out there with those 5 secondary guys. If we can get Brian Urlacher back out there to play the Lobo position, okay, we'll be pretty darn good. I mean, as a junior, he has 178 tackles and leads the nation. Now you're going to see Brian around here a lot. And so that's how, by evolving and staying ahead, is why this scheme has been so good. And we made tremendous strides in our 2 years in Tempe from where they were to where they are today. And what Coach Long has been able to do, my time there at San Diego State and continued now, it works. And so you're going to see it. They're going to play hard. They're going to play harder than anybody in the country, I promise you that.
Coach, Will Weber from the Santa Fe New Mexican.
Hi, Will.
You've been here for the glory days of football.
Yes.
But there's also been a lot of lean years. I'm curious, in your opinion, why is it so difficult to build a winner and sustain a winner here?
I think there's certain models that work in every program. Multiple coaches have had success here and have had stints of success here. Coach Long having the longest. What coaching comes down to be a good coach, there's a difference between being a good coach and a good leader. You're a good coach when you have great players. It doesn't matter how smart you are schematically. If those guys can't play, you don't have a chance. But if you've got good players, they can make you to be a great coach. And evaluating and recruiting and building that. We're gonna build this thing with freshmen out of high school and keep that thing going so that when you have turnover class after class after class, you've got an opportunity to fill gaps with guys and develop them. That's the most important thing, is you have to develop guys in your program. Next year we are senior laden. We've got 33 seniors on our football team. The following 2 years, we don't have that same leadership, the same seniors with experience and leadership, so we're going to have to develop those guys along, and I'm going to lean on those 33 guys to be the grunt of our football team next year and to teach those young guys behind them how to be the future of Lobo football. And go back all the way to the beginning. We have 4 conference championships that we've won at the University of New Mexico. Our players are going to know that. They're going to know about it because I think that's important. Now, we played for a conference championship, which some people consider the 5th. When you can hold up that trophy at the end of the year and you're first place in that conference championship game, that's a conference championship. And I was a part of the team that played for the championship and didn't get it done. The only time they're going to get rings around here is when they win championships. And we will do that by building the program from the bottom up with freshmen, keep reloading every year, and compete for championships. And if my time here is we win 3 or 4 championships, me and my wife will go off and retire and have a great time, and I will die a very happy man. Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach Danny. Steve Urgin from the Albuquerque Journal. What can you tell us about the staff that you're going to be putting together, and are you comfortable, are you confident with the salaries that are available?
Very. Like I said, I think first, when you hire people, it's who they are. We're going to hire great men, great fathers, great husbands, great teachers, because those are the guys that are going to be around our players every single day. The one downfall to me becoming the head coach of this football team is I will not be a position coach, and that was one of the things that I loved the most. They got to be around my position, my safeties. They got to be around my family, my wife, my kids. We have a special bond. You can bring them over for an occasional meal from the compliance department at home, feed them, and that relationship you build, the trust you build with them, that's where our position coaches have to succeed. And you show examples of what it is to be a great father and a great husband. And if they learn that, those are the kind of coaches we want around. I want coaches that want to learn. Doesn't matter what they know as far as scheme and all that stuff. If they're good coaches, every good coach wants to learn. I learn every single day. I pick the brain of every coach that I've ever been around. I watch as much tape as I can so I get new ideas. And if you hire a bunch of people like that, you got a chance to build something special both on and off the field. And I think our main job is to mentor these young men. And when you do that the right way and you have a high-character football team, it translates into wins.
Hey, Coach, this is Marty Watts with
There you are.
ProView Networks.
Hey, Marty, yes, sir.
So my question is there any recruits that Bob Davie was committed to come here? Are we going to take a look at them? Or
Absolutely. There is. I'll tell you, I can promise you this. And part of my conversations with Eddie and David and President Stokes, the resources to have people that can help us in recruiting, there will be no rock left unturned for us to find players. And in my time with Coach Long at San Diego State, and I didn't thank him earlier, but Coach Edwards, Herm Edwards at Arizona State, who gave me the opportunity to be a coordinator for the first time by myself without Coach Long, and Gene Boyd and Ray Anderson there at Arizona State. I am very thankful to them. And I learned a whole model of recruiting at that stop that's really going to benefit our program here. And I can promise you this, we will watch every single one of those kids that those coaches recruited. And I had a meeting with all 10 of those coaches this morning, and I'm very appreciative for what they've done for our program. And they gave me names and stuff, and we'll go over those guys. We're working hard already. I was up late last night talking to both our team and recruits to try and put a class together. I think the early signing date has really helped transitions like this, because the guys that signed today, and it's a great day in college football, I know who's left. And so we don't have to waste resources and time on kids that might go somewhere else when they're already gone. So now we know who's out there, and we're going to hone in on them. We're going to go put a class together that'll give us the opportunity to compete. Yes.
Coach, Sam Hauser, ESPN Radio 101.7. Hey, Coach. All the things that you're talking about for what you want to do to build a program,
yes.
I mean, there's a lot there to tackle. Have you thought about how you want to prioritize that and, get the kids to buy into it right out of the gate?
Yeah. I mean, I think I prepared from the time I was a graduate assistant here at the University of New Mexico with Coach Long. I think you have to take pieces and parts of everybody that you've been around. And if you're going to succeed, you can't try and be somebody else. You have to be yourself. And so like I said, I've got a great tree of which I get to pick from and get as much information as I can and how to build a program. There's things that Bronco Mendenhall has done that nobody else in the country has done that I'll be able to feed off of that and build it. And we're not going to do it the way he did it. We're going to do it our way. But I can learn those things. And the kids, I think if that once they figure out that they can trust you and they know that you're in it for them, never ever will I blame a kid on game day. When we win games, the players won the games. When we lose, that's on the coaches. Players wins games, coaches don't. Coaches don't tackle, coaches don't get interceptions, the players do. And so once they feel that you have their back and you're all about them, the trust comes and they believe in what you're doing. And as long as we see success, all of a sudden you can get momentum that you can't stop. And the one thing about our program that these kids are going to do is they're going to compete in everything they do. Practice, academics, in the classroom, up at football, in the weight room, you name it. Everything's going to be dialed in around competition. And that's how you build your culture and get them to believe.
Rick Wright, Albuquerque Journal. Regarding recruiting, other than the obvious places, New Mexico, Southern California, Phoenix, the places you've been,
yes.
Where do you feel you have to go or want to go, and how might that affect your hiring your staff?
Well, first off, I mean, that's important. First off, like I said, we're going to start in New Mexico. I think you have to be, so when we were here before and we had great success, you have to be heavy in Texas. The football in Arizona has got significantly better. And then there's areas of Southern California you recruit. Albuquerque is a very special place. It's not for everybody. And you have to be able to go through that in recruiting and figure out who's going to fit in with your football team. The best recruiters that we'll have, I mean, you got to hire 10 coaches and you got to make sure that they have areas, and we're going to have coaches that have Texas ties. We're going to have coaches that have Southern California ties. My first recruiting area was West Texas, and then I spent a portion of that time in the DFW area. I think recruiting ties and relationships are huge, and evaluating those guys. But like I said, our best recruiters are going to be our players. Because the one thing that when you get them on campus and you get them around your team, players don't lie to players. As coaches, we're going to sell everything through rose-colored glasses. We will never lie to them. But we're going to make this place look as beautiful and all the wonderful things we can because we want them to come here. And then when they spend time on official visits with our student athletes, those guys tell them exactly how the coaches are, how the culture of the team is. And when those guys come back to us, and if we brought a kid in that we recruited and they don't like him, we're not recruiting him. Because it's their team, and they have to like the guys they're playing with. And I think that's, you build the guys, you bring them in, and let the players help you decide if they're going to fit in your culture.
Coach Henry Tafoya,
Yes, sir, Henry T.
KZQ TV, it's good to see you again. Go back, if you don't mind, to the days you walked the ditch banks in the North Valley.
Yes, sir.
Finding out you were an athlete. Who inspired you to be successful?
First, go ahead, sorry.
And then part two, your vision. What do you see? Paint that picture of the future of Lobo football.
First, my dad. From the time I was able to walk, having a football or a baseball bat or a soccer ball or a basketball, he always had me doing something. And got me into sports at a very young age. Went to Valley High School. I played every sport you could there. I played soccer, I played football, I played basketball, I ran track, I played baseball. My first football coach there was Danny Gonzales. Joe Coleman was the freshman football coach. Played varsity as a freshman and was well taken care of by those guys. Vince Collins comes in my senior year. Vince Collins is a great high school football coach in the city of Albuquerque. Those guys really impacted my life, not just as a football player, but as a human being, as a person. And the way that they were able to get to me really inspired me on what I was going to do afterwards. I think there's a lot of that within this town. I think high school coaches have a lot more influence on people than kids than people think. And I am forever Roger Cordova, the baseball coach, Gerald Schneider, the basketball coach, Coach Stone, our soccer coach. I mean, all those guys were very influential in my life. And the mentorship that I learned from them is what I carry on to give to, it's why I do this. It's to be around those guys and help them to go through things and opportunities that I had. And my vision of Lobo football, Like I said, we finished second 4 times. We were that close. In 2003, we go up to Utah in Salt Lake City. Urban Meyer's first year up there, we whooped their tail. Like I said, 45-23, wasn't even close. We had over 600 yards total offense. They didn't have a chance. And it was funny because Coach Long in that deal, he called that a finesse offense, and that missed a lot of words. Oh boy, he said, watch what you say. Okay? Well, we whooped their tail that day. The next week, we played UNLV, and we turned the ball over 6 times and lose 37-35. And we end up losing the conference championship by that one game later on. We beat Wyoming in a snow blizzard game, and we need Utah to lose to BYU, and Utah wins 3-0. That's how close we came. We play up in Colorado State in 2002, and Dontrell Moore has an unbelievable night, and Colorado State picks up the fumble, returns it for a touchdown, and we lose our conference championship. We came that close 4 times. My vision is to get that done. And in 2016, when they beat Boise up there and Coach Davey's staff in the blue turf, that was a special night. It was a special night for the city. Holly Holm wins a big fight that night over Ronda Rousey. That's what Albuquerque is. Both those things were huge events and everybody celebrated them. Well, we want to give Albuquerque and the state of New Mexico a lot to celebrate. And when we hold up that Mountain West Conference Championship trophy for the first time, I'm just going to sit back and clap on our football team and be excited. What else? Anybody else? Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Danny. Mark Smith, Enchantment
Mark.
Sports. How you doing?
Good.
Man?
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. Got a kid now.
Congratulations.
First time. Hey, watching from a distance,
Yes.
the program the last 10 years since Rocky left, how much did that hurt you and alums watching what had happened to the program, and then coming into the pit last night at halftime like that? Give me the emotions that went through you both over the last few years and then last night, and did it feel like, man, this is it, I'm home?
It definitely did. Walking out there on the floor last night, I'll never forget that. Having my family with me, and then that wasn't planned. Now, when I said I'm home, that was awesome. Very welcome reception that I will never forget that memory. As a coach at another institution in the times that I've been away, there was never a Sunday morning I didn't check the score, or Saturday night I didn't check the score to see how our Lobos did. And other than the times that we played against them, that's the only time I ever rooted against the Lobos was when I was on the other sideline. And when I'd see they didn't win, it hurt. That was one of my great conversations with Coach Long. This is our team. It's your time, but it's our team. Don't screw it up. And obviously that's resonating with me because I'm not going to let it happen. But that's been a difficult time to be away just because of the success that we had when I was here. One of the big draws, and I am so honored that Eddie wanted me to be in this position. I never politicked for this job. If they wanted me to be the coach, they were going to have to come and find me. And I am really grateful that you did. I had many opportunities, and I only wanted one. And I'm so happy I got it.
Good luck. Good luck. A lot of people rooting for you, man.
Thank you.
Roger Holian, Mountain West Wire. I just want to, I was there in 2003. I got to watch that game, and I got to watch you win the Chuck Cummings Award at the banquet.
Awesome.
And I've seen you as a young man, and did you ever envision this day would happen? I know I read an article that Rocky Long had mentioned, 2006, that you would be the head coach. Is this like deja vu to you?
You know, it's, you have no idea how special this is to me. In 1999, when the end of the 98 football season, Coach Long pulled me aside. I was working at Bank of America over on San Pedro and Lomas. I was just going to go be a banker, whatever. And he said, you really have a great insight for football and the kids like you and being a football coach. Would you be interested? And I was so excited and enamored with that opportunity. I was a student assistant for a semester before they made me a GA. they didn't have when I was done being a GA, they had full-time coaches, and the continuity of the staff, I think, was a big reason why we were successful here. There was not an opportunity for me to be a full-time coach at that time, so he made me the video coordinator. And that gave me an experience. At the time, I was very disappointed because I wanted to be a football coach. And looking back, it gave me a really grander view of the campus life and everything, which is going to help me in this role now. And then 2 years later, he said, you know what, I need to put you on the field. And I got that opportunity, and I haven't left it. He used to tease me all the time that I was going to be a head coach here someday. Do you believe it? No, I don't know. I hope. And we've been successful, not away from here. I've been a part of 3 conference championships. I've also been the failure of second place, not only the 4 times here, but 6 other times in our time away. I've been a part of a team that won 33 games in 3 years and was the 3rd most in the nation. So success breeds opportunities. I'm very fortunate for Coach Long because in this journey he's protected me. And not a lot of coaches get that. I was spoiled. I was with him for 20 years. That's very uncommon in this business. And so I have a lot of loyalties to him, and I am so proud that he's a former Lobo. He's not a former Lobo, that he's a Lobo. I know he's coaching that other team. He's a Lobo. And the opportunities that I have to pick from his brain, I just am forever grateful.
Van Tate, I know I forgot to say my
okay.
name the other 2 times. And
I know who you are, Van.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, so the program, you kind of along the lines of what Mark was talking about, you were watching this happen here when you were away, and like even like the last 3 years, the losing, how do you bust that culture of losing, the 3 consecutive years, and then it even went dipped down another time this year, two wins?
You know, from the time Coach Davey got here, I mean, they built up success, and then coaching staffs have their issues. I thought they did a great job when they were building stuff here. It's all about players, okay? Recruiting is a big thing. Players buying in and believing in what you do. And it's got to start from the very beginning. I mean, when we were here before now, remember when I was here with Coach Long, we went 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a long journey. But then when we got to 8, guess what? We made it to 9. We competed for the conference championship. It took time for those guys to understand and compete and learn how we wanted to do it and build that culture. But once you get that ingrained in those guys, 4 classes, 5 classes, and those guys are ingrained in it, it's all they know. And the thing about being a good leader, you have to make tough decisions that make people uncomfortable. I'm okay with that, okay? If you are consistent in the way you treat them, they trust you. It's when you waver that the ship sinks. And I watched Coach Long do that for 20 years. Coach Edwards has done a great job our 2 years in Tempe. So, like I said, you have to be yourself. And like I said, I'm forever grateful for the opportunity that Eddie gave me to be the coach here. Thank you. I'm glad to be home.